Hello and welcome back to the FOD, where I bring you a wrap up of all things season 5. So this isn't going to be a long episode by any means. Just wanted to take some time to say thank you to all of our guests for the series, all of whom are super busy in what is currently a very challenging and competitive landscape globally. Every single person in this series is at the forefront of technology decision making that is shaping the future of thousands of retail businesses. We welcome guests from America, Denmark, Finland, Germany, the Netherlands, and of course the UK. And one thing that I found really interesting is looking at the similarities across the markets. Everyone is overcoming the same challenges, big and small, and hopefully this episode will go some way to summarize some of the key topics that have been discussed. Outside of the podcast, I was also fortunate enough to get the opportunity to write an article for Retail Technology magazine about this very topic, and I'll make sure there's an accessible link to the article if you're interested in reading. Anyway, let's start. So hopefully you've been listening, so you're aware of the format. However, every episode started by talking through the growth of Composable. This has been one of my favorite parts as it draws down on the experience of the guests and how they've seen the market develop over the last 5 or 10 years. Rex highlighted that approximately 30% of new projects now have composability in mind. And whilst it can be argued that the move to composable architecture is still in its infancy, and by infancy, I mean first phase projects that haven't actually gone through the changing of components yet, it is now attracting the mass market buyer, as has been highlighted by Kelly in our last episode. Conversations are no longer just with the tech-savvy organizations. Krag and Rico spoke about how customer expectations have brought the change. Higher demands have meant businesses need more from their technology. Clearly, the technology has also evolved to enable them to do that. But most of the guests highlighted that we've been doing this or something similar for some time, with monolithic platforms often having a specialist CMS, PIM, or even search to meet their customers' demand. I think the difference now is that we aren't locked into a specific ecosystem, i.e. Salesforce or SAP, and the innovation in particular in some of the areas is so high that we're able to constantly reset the bar even higher. We then moved into the number one reasons why composable transformations fail, and the unanimous answer was business readiness. This was something that was also touched upon in season 4 from interviewing the end customers. Things were raised like, does the business know what it's about to embark on? Is it ready? Who is owning it? How has it been communicated? And does the business have the budget and the resources to make a success? But the key note that I took here is, have you got the right metric set up to track its success? As most of the time, success comes later down the line when you can release multiple times per day, or, for example, not needing to do a lengthy replatform again. The majority of listeners have probably experienced a painful legacy monolithic upgrade before and don't want to be experiencing that again. Something I wanted to note here as well is the cost of hiring the right talent, not just for the transformation itself, but afterwards too. Now, I'm not going to go on about this too much, but you should know that good tech talent isn't cheap. It's also not easy to come by. So whether you're planning on building an internal team, using contractors or third parties, make sure you do your research on costs, because hiring based on cost and not ability or experience will definitely make an impact. Now, the third question was a great one, and one hopefully where sort of some of the wisdom of my guests shine through. 3 top tips to share with customers before kicking off a transformation. Now, there were a number of recurring themes here, as you'd probably imagine, but there's 2 that I want to drill down on. Tomas shared a great one in episode 2, And that was speaking to someone that has been through the journey before, whether it's be a partner, an individual, a specialist consultant, an ex-colleague, whatever it might be. Talk to them about what went well, but more importantly, what didn't go so well and what they would do differently if they were going to be doing it again. It's very easy to just talk about the good stuff, but actually we really learn from people that have been through these transformations and can share their stories and not make the same mistakes that others have made. The second point to note here is ensuring that you've done an extensive discovery, understanding where you are unique and how you want to differentiate yourself in the future. I think this is something that's really, really important and will ultimately shape some of the decisions that you make. This point was raised by Krag, Mikko and Gert, and possibly one or two others as well. Definitely make sure that you're investing a lot of time into that discovery process at the start to really understand the journey that you're going to need to go on to get to where you want to get to. After that, we moved on to the number one thing that you should check before finalizing SI selection. This was a point that the majority of our guests in season 4 felt was crucial. So given the majority of the guests in season 5 are from SIs, I felt it would be a really good question to ask. Almost every conversation highlighted the need to take case studies. Sounds pretty obvious, I guess, but whether or not it happens or not, I don't know. Speak to real customers, ask them, what's the engagement like? How are they dealing with challenges? What's working well, what's not working well? Get a real feel for the company that you're about to be engaging and how they deal with real world situations. Don't just take the case studies that you see on the website at face value. Ask to speak to them, see if you have any mutual connections there or anyone that you can speak to off the record to get a real insight as to what it's like working with them. Finally, we finished up with where does the market go from here? And look, this was a pretty cool question. Here we had accelerators and connectors forming the next generation of monoliths. Something I found pretty cool and can definitely see happening. Arguably, we're already seeing it happening as well. To commercetools and Shopify dominating the commerce industry. Again, I mean, it's both are doing very, very well at the minute. Fortunately, Gen I wasn't mentioned a huge amount, but that's probably just because the potential there is a given. In fact, in a recent survey that's been conducted by Simply Commerce, 64% of our answers felt that Gen AI presented the most significant opportunity for growth within digital commerce. So I think that summarizes it pretty well. That I mean, Gen AI is definitely going to be making an impact, and it already is, and it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, I felt that last question was really interesting to get under the hoods of the guests and really start to think, okay, where's the market now, but where is it going? So definitely recommend tuning into some of those episodes and hearing what they had to say. Of course, this is just a snippet of this season's episodes. Hopefully, I've given it some justice. If the move to composable architecture interests you, I'd strongly recommend taking some time to listen to the episodes, as each person is a genuine specialist in this field and shares unique insight into the topic. For now, I just want to say a final thank you once again to all of my guests this season: Michiel, Tomas, Dom, Gert, Krag, Rico, Rex, Mikko, and Kelly. Really do appreciate all of your time joining me on the show this past season. On that note, I'm excited to announce that recording for season 6, is already underway. Do keep your eyes peeled for more information as this starts to be released over socials. However, we will be broadening the topics to cover things such as broader digital transformation journey and how to ensure its success, building a business within e-commerce, and the future of technology within digital commerce. As I mentioned, these recordings are already underway and I can't wait to share them with you in the coming months. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you all soon.